What's up, Internet? We are here with 401 Real Game by CoolBoy. Just getting off how awesome Banana Prince was, even if it was in German. And I couldn't even understand the language. And it even had reading comprehension, which I barely got through. I do know the colors, but that's about the extent of my German knowledge. Next we have Shohuen. Actually, I think that's probably just pronounced Shohen. This looks like a pirate game by Nice Code, which is terrifying. Oh god, it's the Mothra shooter. Mothra, everyone's favorite giant monster. Don't lie, she totally is. Paris Lady Mothra will save us all from all the other giant evil monsters. But unfortunately, she just cannot get her own game that isn't a terrible piece of pirate garbage, it seems. Because this is all one of the Mothra games out there that I'm aware of. Oh no, Mothra turned into a ship, because that makes sense. Wow, this music is really bad. I mean, I get that I'm playing this on the Retron 3, and that does not have a good sound chip, like, for any of its modes, but, yeah, this is not good. Unfortunately, this is... I do believe this is a game by Nice Code, which is kind of an infamous company for its pirate hacks, and before we're done here, it will be a company you're quite familiar with. Unfortunately. But that's for the future, not for the now. And I'm kind of thankful for that, because current me doesn't want to deal with that ever. And future me is going to hate current me for that mentality. Oh hey, we got like a little auction guy. Cool. And our little auction guy is dead, alas. Oh god, it makes squeaky sounds now. Alas. Poor Mothra. She will not fly again, and I don't want to play that again because, let's just be honest, no. So that was, something. Something I'm pretty sure is unofficial. Although I've been surprised by what is official and what isn't on this card already. Alright, next we have Bobble 2. This game is official. But this is not entirely Bobble 2. First of all, Bobble 2 is the second Bobble, but it's not the second Bobble because the story of Bobble 2, not to be confused with this, is Rainbow Islands. Which, there's a Bobble 3, not to be confused with the story of Bobble 3, which is Parasol Stars. The whole Bobble mythos is convoluted as all hell. But going back to my point, this is Bobble 2, but it's actually modified. Because while this is, in fact, Bobble 2, it's been hacked to give you more lives at the start. I think you start with, like, 20 lives. I was going to say 30. That's basically Bobble 2, which means it's Bobble, but it looks a little better. And it doesn't quite have this same super catchy soundtrack provided by Zuntata this time. Which is unfortunate because, let's just be honest, the Bobble theme is just so infectiously catchy. But it looks nice. And you know, Bobble is just a great game. Even the Bobble knockoffs like Don Dokadon and stuff like that are really good, and like Snow Bros. Those are great games. My introduction to Bobble was a little bit non-standard though. It was from the Bobble collection on the Saturn, which also had Rainbow Islands, and I was terrible at both games, but I remember specifically that collection had like the most terrifying opening of all time. Seriously, sometime just look up Bobble Rainbow Islands for like the Saturn or PS1. Look the opening up. It is horrifying. And yet I want a copy again, just because it was kind of a big deal in my childhood. Because that was how I was introduced to Bobble, and you know, I spent quite a long time trying to figure out what that game was, because I remembered it under a slightly different name. I think as a kid, I thought the name was Bibble Bubble or something, so I couldn't quite figure out what the hell was that game, because that's not a real name for anything. On the bright side, it means that if I ever want to make a knockoff Bobble game, I've got a built-in name that's never been used. I will say though, while it looks significantly better, it just doesn't sound quite as good because it just does not have the awesome Bubble Bobble theme. The currently existing song is just, it's good, but it's, I got a Chaos Emerald. It's just, you know, nowhere near as interesting. But it's more Bubble Bobble and it looks good. And for some people, that'll be enough. That's neat, you can take them out on the way down. I'll take that heart. I mean, I'm not very good at this, but, you know, it's fun. I'll take pumpkins, because pumpkins, they make the best pies. A big angry fire guy. I must defeat him. Alas, it won't let me. That's actually really cool. That's the level would be sort of designed around that. It's not so much arcadey action as it was just sort of a conceit to give you like a puzzle experience to break up the just sort of arcadiness of it. I appreciate when stuff does that. Like, it becomes very gimmicky if it just does that, but, you know, a little bit of gimmick to just sort of change how things are, I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just has to be done smart, I think. But I think we kind of get how Bubble Bobble is. And it's, you know, more Bubble Bobble. Bubble Bobble's awesome. And that's Bubble Bobble that looks a little better, but doesn't sound better. But I think it plays probably better, because it's just a little bit more deep and interesting. Alright, next we have Bucky OHare. Now, this is an important game, because it does something pretty interesting. Now, you'll see all the licensing stuff and, like, proper attribution, the developers and everything on the title screen. That's important for this game. And you might wonder why. Well, as you've probably seen with a few of these games, you know, pirates really do like to remove copyright information from games. And with Bucky OHare, they tried some, like, rudimentary copy protection. In that, if you have a copy that's pirated and they removed the copyright information, which does happen, then, fun story, it sets the game up on hard mode. And hard mode is one-hit kills. And this is already a very difficult game. It's a great game, but really difficult. It's also really rare. But it's a platformer where you run around collecting or rescuing all your different crew members. And this is based on an old cartoon that lasted, I think, like, maybe 20 episodes, if that. It's one of those one of those shows that if you saw it, you'd immediately realize it was something that probably Scott McNeil voiced in, and in fact he did. There we go. Do we have any? No, we don't. Now, if I recall, I think we may have screwed this up, because what you need to do is you need to have specific people on your team to get past things, and I think we just picked a wrong level or something. Or, you know, maybe I'm just not picking up on something. Select, starts. Because I know there is, like, a character selector once you rescue your teammates, and they all have different attributes. So I think what we did is we picked a level that requires attributes that aren't currently available to us, I would think. So that's my bad. I will kill myself off. We'll pick a different level. Granted, I might just not be picking up on something really, really simple. Alright, we'll start with the green planet. Sure. I'd like the color blue, but we'll go with the color green. But this was a show about some sort of green space rabbit fighting toads, from what I remember. Although literally all I know about this show is this game, and it had an arcade game that I hear is really, really good. Alright. It's just a nice little platformer. It's really hard, even without the hard mode, but it's fun. But of course, it's Konami back when Konami was actually doing things of value in the games world. So, you know, it goes without saying it would be good. Yeah, so our guy, Bucky, he can jump extra high. And these things will drop, so we don't want to stand on them for any extended period of time. Okay, now we got some physics, now we got some... Oh no! But yeah, this is sort of like from the era of, you know, we're gonna make kids games, but we're gonna make them really, really hard. And I think that's awesome. Because that at least means that, you know, kids are gonna be faced with challenges, they have to develop skills and problem solving and stuff. And that's something I'm always very, very vocal about, is just, you know, kids have to face challenges, they have to be given stuff like that. Not like today where, you know, you play any Mario game, you die once, and they give you, like, an invulnerability suit that makes Mario fly and is invincible. I hate stuff like that, because... Well, I mean, I'm gonna just assume you've seen my review of Kirby's Epic Yarn, or Yoshi's Epic Yarn 2, where it's just, you know, that's something I fundamentally hate, because I think it's gonna really screw up a child's development. Just the thought that, you know, nothing is going to really affect them, and, you know, everything's just going to work out perfectly, and they're never going to have any challenges, and they don't ever have to try, and I hate that mentality. But again, I'm someone who tries desperately to get popular on the internet for a job, so, you know, I'm no stranger to constantly having to work my butt off for not a ton of return. But, you know, it's important to just do what you love, and that's what I'm doing. So hopefully it'll work out. But if anything else, I can at least teach kids, you know, you have to be challenged, because not everything's going to go your way. And you have to know that you have to actually put in effort. And I think that's an important life lesson for kids. Which is why games like this are so important, you know? Even if it is just a weird tie-in to a really obscure cartoon that didn't last very long, you know? Make a good game, make a game that's difficult and gonna actually, like, challenge kids and make them develop their skills. Whoopsie. That's right, super jump. Anyway, that's my design mentality about stuff, is you still have to challenge kids, even if it is just a kid's game, because, you know, not giving people challenges is not good for people's development. Anyway, that's a long rant about something that has very little to do with anything. Next we have Captain America. Probably not played by Chris Evans, which is unfortunate because I liked him as Captain America. Oh, it's by Data East. Good. And Hawkeye, one of the most useless characters in all of the Avengers. Alright, let's skip all this nonsense. Okay. I don't think I've ever actually played this game on this cartridge before. Huh. You know, I going into this, I kind of figured I'd at least, you know, played everything on this cart once or twice. I've never played this. Oh, I kind of like that spinny jump. That's kind of style points right there. This kind of reminds me a little bit of those NES G.I. Joe games. Exit? Okay, so I have to collect crap before I'm allowed to leave, I guess. Okay. What? Okay, well I can at least swim. Because I'm going to say it's kind of a jerk move to just introduce platforms and then just immediately have them move. Like, you know, it's like, oh, there's a platform here. Oh, wait, no, sorry, we didn't mean to actually indicate there's a platform. No, there's no platform. If you thought there was a platform, you're crazy. So we can go to New Orleans or Tampa. I'm guessing I don't want to run into those saw blades, so we'll go this way. I mean, this is basically just a sort of generic hacky slashy sort of thing, but you know, it's not bad. Honestly, I always thought Captain America was one of the dumbest superheroes. Like, I think a lot of superheroes by design are really dumb, but I always thought Captain America was just kind of really awkward and dumb. And I mean, he was a character designed for American propaganda in World War II, of course, so, you know, that was kind of the point. But, you know, at the same time, I think the more recent Marvel films have actually made him kind of cool. And I will say one of the few Marvel movies I've actually seen, because I just don't see movies, is the first Captain America film, and I thought that was actually a really good movie. So you know what? As much as I like to make fun of Captain America for being kind of a weird icon from a weird time, you know, it's certainly got a cool character nowadays. Well, I will say this platforming nonsense is not that great. The platforming itself isn't bad, it's just the way the platforms work are not great. Okay, so do we go this way? Nope. Okay, so I have to hang there. Let's try and go down here. Oh no, the magic jewel of destiny, it's gone. You know, there are worse superhero games on the NES. There's that terrible X-Men game. But, you know, I'm not gonna say this is the best one out there either. I don't know what we're doing. This level's just weirdly designed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm abandoning that game real quick, but, you know, that might actually be a decent enough game. The platforming seems okay. Just the level design there and the way the platforms actually behave is a little strange. Alright, next we have Keroppi. I believe this is a puzzle game. Oh, it's that screen. You know, this is one of those Sanrio games. And Keroppi is one of the few Sanrio characters I recognize. Also, this is in English, which is bizarre, because I'm pretty sure none of this is actually originally in English. It's some kind of translated version, I think. This is also not a game that I thought it was. The Keroppi game I'm familiar with is like a weird puzzle game. Whereas this feels dangerously close to Wagan Land. A little bit. I wouldn't be Yeah, you grab and your music notes get... Oh my god, are we gonna have to play some... I gotta see a boss in this game, because I want to see if we get thrown into some Shikitori nonsense. Now, the difference between this and Wagan Land, aside from the fact that you're Keroppi, obviously, is... You know, Wagan Land... You couldn't kill stuff, you just stunned it. Unless you got the Super Waganizer in the first game. This is well and truly a strange game. I mean, I guess this is official, but I've never seen this game before. I genuinely need to see a boss fight. If we get another, like, power-up, we'd probably gain we'd probably get invulnerability and then lose all our power-ups. Just like in Wagan Land. There's actually quite a lot of NES games you can trace back to Wagan Land too, if I recall. If I recall that Masked Ninja Hanamaru, which we would get as... Yep, there's the invulnerability for maxing out your power-ups. Thank you, Wagan Land. But Yeah, this is totally Wagyan land. That's awesome. Not gonna lie, I think I need to get myself a copy of this now. Because I love Wagyan land, and having Wagyan land that's less based around the reading comprehension in Japanese, the better. Because that's the part of that game I can't play very well. I'll leave that guy alone. We're not going for 100% completion, but rescuing lost Keroppis or Wagyans. That was one of the gameplay elements of Super Wagyan Land, I believe. And I believe Wagyan Land 2 on the Famicom. Although I think the third one had, like, space rabbits that were called, what was it? Pisos, if I recall. Man, I love the Wagyan games, even though I can't play many of them. There's literally one I can play because the rest are all just based heavily on Japanese reading comprehension. Because they're all edutainment, of course. You know, this is actually pretty interesting. Let's go fight the boss. What is a boss in this game going to be like? Is it going to be Shikitori? How's that going to work in English? I gotta admit, I never knew this was on this cart, and this has made this cart all the more worthwhile to me. Alright, there we go. Now our WA becomes a GA. Oh no, Keroppi! I don't want to die before I see a boss. I want to see what the bosses are like. I'm genuinely curious. I don't care much for like the one square platforms and the instant death though. That's something I could do without. I mean, if you want to have one-hit kills, that's one thing, but, you know, making the game a heavy platformer and, you know, making one square jumps the norm kind of awful. Oh dear lord, what's this boss gonna be like? Yep, this is, Wagyan land for sure. Okay, I kind of lost track where the other ones were. But if this is like Wagyan Land the first, no it's not. Oh, interesting. He doesn't actually get a choice. Interesting. I don't remember where these things are. Can we just settle this over a game of Sanrio Smash? Please? I'm guessing it's not a perfect translation, as evidenced by the fact that this is nonsense. Oh, I have to play the level again, that's... Okay, well we know what this is. This is totally Wagyan Land, but with less reading comprehension, which makes it better. Although slightly less edutainment-y. And that's... okay. I love Wagyan Land. That is amazing to me. Alright, so next is, I think that might be it for today. Yeah, it is. We ended on a pretty cool note, though. Okay, so with these past 5 games, would I recommend? Well, Shohen is bad. Bobble 2 is prettier than Bobble. I think it plays a little better, but it just doesn't sound quite as good. But it's still Bobble, which makes it amazing. Bucky OHare is tricky but good. Captain America, I didn't give that enough time. I realize that, and this format doesn't really afford me to, but that could be a decent game. And Keroppi, well, I'm biased. I love Wagyan Land. That is kind of an amazing game. Would I recommend this cart over these past 5 games? Yes, everything but the first one, because damn, that was fun. Plus, we got to discover a game or two that I didn't even know about. Anyway, join me next time where we look at Captain Tsubasa 5, or V. It's kind of hard to tell based on this, but that would be some kind of... If that is Captain Tsubasa, that's like RPG card battling meets sport ball. That's going to be interesting. If it's the English version, it's going to have a really awkward name from what I recall, but Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, follow the show to see more and see my reviews and gameplay clips and everything else I do, which is a lot. And if you really want to make my day, check out the show's PayPal or Patreon. Support the show any way you can so that I can continue to do what I do to the best of my ability. Because every little bit in every small way you can help is just making my life a little bit easier. And that is definitely valued, especially when stuff in my life is going rather poorly. Plus, you get yourself on the Patreon where we can talk about awesome things like more Wagan Land that we didn't even know exists, because that's just amazing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Peace out, Internet.